Hey, look at the Mets. Back-to-back wins. They're 2-0 in July, and hey, they're back buying players. Hey, what's up, fam? The New York sports fan, Josh Byrne here, and today it was announced that the Mets make their second in-season trade, this time shipping off rookie reliever Zach Muckenhirn for Chris Flexen and Trevor Gott from the Seattle Mariners. And to me, this screams of a move that was made possible by Steve Cohen's financial resources. I don't think many teams could have pulled this off, folks. I really don't, because Trevor Gott is a guy who is having an underwhelming season, an ERA right around 4, but he's making several $1 million. So while that doesn't sound like a lot of money, most other teams, they're not even going to sniff. They're not even going to be remotely interested in a guy who is making several $1 million as a reliever unless he is one of the top arms in the game, unless he's a guy like Aroldis Chapman, unless he's a guy like Alexis Diaz. No one is going to be interested. But the Mets are kind of a unicorn because the Mets in this situation are essentially buying a player. Yes, they gave up Zach Muckenhirn, but I think I can speak for most Mets fans and perhaps the Mets front office when I say that they really did not foresee Zach Muckenhirn having a strong presence in this organization for the future ahead, and that is why they brought in a guy like Trevor Gott. As for the other arm, they got Chris Flexen. He's already been a Met. We've seen him here, and we know that he struggled mightily during his tenure with the New York Metropolitans. And afterwards, he made news by really voicing his displeasure both on the field and off it with the New York Mets organization. And credit to Chris Flexen, while he is not a fan favorite amongst Mets fans, he made that abundantly clear when he would celebrate emphatically against them while pitching for the Mariners. While he wasn't a fan favorite at all, he did have a couple of good seasons for the Mariners, undoubtedly so. This season, not so much. In 29 appearances, he has an ERA well over 7, and that is why upon acquiring Flexen, it was announced by Mets Twitter that they plan on DFAing him upon his arrival to New York. So how's that for a welcome back, Chris Flexen? You're going right out where you came from. You're going right out of here. We don't want you. Good afternoon, good night, and see you later. Best wishes or not. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. But for me, I really respect this move. I really do, because Trevor Gott is a guy who's respected around this league. He's a guy who's been through the ringer. He's a guy who has pitched in late inning games, in close games, in important games. And right now, for a Mets team that's 8 games under 500, when you ask yourself why they're in this position, a big reason is the bullpen. So it's nice to see that even though the Mets are a struggling team and have their work cut out for them to make up some ground in the standings, it's nice to see that the Mets are still trying to improve the roster. And I don't think you can find anyone out there who can argue that this move does not improve the roster. Unless you think Zach Muckenhirn is a better pitcher than Trevor Gott, then this move is clearly something that improves the New York Metropolitans from where they were a day before. Now you have another veteran who Buck Showalter can turn to late in the games. And while it's not an earth-shattering move, while it's probably not going to move the needle for a lot of fans, it is nice that we won't have to see Dominic Leone, and we won't have to see TJ McFarland, and we won't have to see a lot of these other struggling middle relievers quite as much now with Trevor Gott, a guy who I believe has the potential to be at least an above-average arm in this New York Metropolitans pen, and we know that the New York Mets need that. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and as always, let's go Mets, folks, and all the love.